Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here back with the next part of What If Naruto a Mother's Love. I have already uploaded the next part of What If Naruto was raised by Jiraiya Tsunade. If you haven't checked that out, please check that out as well. And without further ado, let's continue our story. Oh yeah guys, if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's begin our story. Why do you think Kakashi Sensei just up and left like that? Hinata asked. Naruto shrugged. Honestly, I have no idea, Hinata-chan, but I'm not complaining. We got the rest of the day to ourselves. Kiba had decided to do some training with Akamaru, and he and Hinata were walking hand in hand towards Ichiraku to get some lunch. He wasn't sure what they were going to do the rest of the day, but he knew it would be spent together. Since almost losing her, Naruto had come to truly understand just how much he loved her and what a huge part of his life she was. He smiled at her and she smiled back. There was nothing like almost losing something to truly make you appreciate what you had. As the two of them were passing an alleyway towards Ichiraku, they heard some small children shouting. Looking, he saw a teen in black outfit holding a child up in the air. A blonde girl in a very short skirt was looking on board while two small children were shouting. Naruto recognized the kid struggling in the older man's cape. Hell. Come on, Hinata-chan. He let go of her hand and raced down the alley. The older boy smirked nastily. You shouldn't run into people, Brad. They might not like it. It was an accident. We were just playing. Please let me go. The teen smiled and shook the kid a little. He wasn't actually going to hurt him, but seeing him cry was kind of funny. And then suddenly, he felt a blade pressing against his throat. Let the kid go right now, or I'll slice your neck open. A harsh voice said to him. The blonde girl was reaching for her some type of weapon on her back. Her legs were taken out and she dropped to the ground. Before she could recover, a girl with pale eyes was standing over her with a kunai to her throat. Don't interfere with Naruto-kun, she said. Kankuro carefully looked over to his right to where the person holding the sword was. There stood a Leafnin, a bit younger and shorter than he was, but the boy had a long look in his eye and he recognized whoever the hell this kid was. He was ready to kill. Kankuro gave a smile and carefully set the boy down. Sure, no problem, he tried to laugh. No harm done here. I was just playing around. Playing around? Naruto said flatly. You alright, Konohamaru? He asked without taking his eyes off the teen. Sarutobi had brought his grandson with him to a few times in his birthday parties. Naruto wasn't especially close to the boy, but he did know him. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks Naruto. No problem. I think you and your friends should go now. The children wasted no time in departing. Kankuro gave a sickly smile. See, no harm done. So you go to take your sword off my throat or what now? Maybe. Naruto sent him a nasty smile. And maybe I'll play with you for a little while. Like you were playing with Konohamaru here. I can see by your hitate that you are Sannin. You are here for the Chunin exams. That's right. Kankuro didn't know for fear of cutting himself if he did. Well, that makes you a guest here in my village, and guests don't go around threatening our citizens. And, by the way, the kid just happened to be the grandson of the third Hokage and a friend of mine. As long as you're staying here, remember you're a guest and that we expect you to behave like one. Threatening one of our citizens again and you will regret it. Naruto finally pulled his sword back. Kankuro took a few steps back. Seeing Naruto's action, Hinata pulled back her kunai and moved to stand beside him. Temari quickly got up on her feet and stood next to her brother. She looked at the blonde ninja, who still had his sword ready. He's kind of cool. Despite the situation, she gave him a slight grin. Kankuro was furious and humiliated. He pulled Crow off his back. You want to try that again now that I'm ready? Naruto nodded calmly. If you want to fight, that's fine, but understand that I'll probably kill you. The calm certainty with which he spoke those words was eerily familiar to both Kankuro and Temari. Kankuro, maybe we should just go. Temari shrugged. Kankuro hesitated, no longer sure if he wants to push things further. Kankuro. And an order was called from above. Stop it. You are a disgrace to our entire village. Naruto shot his head up to see a red-haired boy hanging upside down to a tree. He seemed to have a huge crown on his back. What the hell? I didn't sense his chakra signature. What the hell is this guy? But he started it. Kankuro complained and pointed at Naruto. "Shut up or I'll kill you," the red-haired boy said in a soft, menacing tone. Kankuro swallowed. "Yes, Kara, I'm sorry." The red-haired nin softly teleported down. He appeared near the other two and faced Naruto. "I apologize for my brother's behavior and his rudeness." He turned to face the other two. "We're here early, but that doesn't mean we're here to play around. Let's go." "Wait," Naruto called out. "What's your name?" The blonde girl immediately started to blush. "You mean me?" "No, I mean him." The red-haired boy eyed him with a small bit of interest. "I'm Sabuko no Gara, at your service." He paused a bit. "I am curious to your name as well." Naruto have a slight bow. "I am Namikaze Naruto." Gara seemed to mull that over for a moment. "Namikaze, are you son of the fourth Hokage?" "I am." "Then we have something in common, Naruto. I am the son of the fourth Kazekage." Gara started to stare directly at him, and Naruto had no trouble matching the stare. "Looking in your eyes, I can see we have something else in common too." "What would that be?" he asked. "You're a killer, just like me." "I've killed," Naruto said coolly. Gara looked at him for a bit longer, and then finally turned to leave. "I look forward to seeing you at the exams, Naruto." Link break. Kushina and Haku were in the park near the pond. There were a few ducks and Haku was happily feeding them bread. Haku was enjoying himself. Kushina looked at the boy and shook her head a bit. It's hard to believe someone so gentle was the partner of a bastard like Zabuza. It was that Uchiha Gabriella finally put in an appearance. "Sorry I'm late," she said grumbly. Kushina made a point of looking at her watch. "You're 20 minutes late. Your punishment is 20 push-ups for every minute you kept me and Haku waiting. Now drop and give me 400 push-ups." Gabriella stared at her open mouth. "You got to be kidding me. I was just late. A little bit. And this is the first time I'm meeting you as my sensei." Kushina lifted her eyebrow. "That would be a reason for you to try and make a good impression on me. Instead, you chose to show blatant disrespect for my first time, and the time of your teammate is wasted." Gabriella crossed her arms and took on a sulky look. "No one told me you would expect me to show up on time. You're a shinobi. No one should have to tell you that. It's a basic thing. Do you need someone to remind you to pack your ninja gear before coming? You can't really expect me to do so many push-ups just before I got here. I'm only a little late and it's my first day. Come on." Kushina watched her with careful eye. "You just wasted another minute of mine. You're now up to 420 push-ups." "Hey, that's not fair." "So," Kushina said coldly. The girl was clearly getting angry. "How can you punish me for just talking to you for a minute?" "I'm punishing you for not immediately obeying me when I told you to drop and give me push-ups. As your sensei, my responsibility is to teach and protect you. As my students, yours is to follow my orders and give me your best effort at all times. I wish Lee or Naruto were here right now to show her what I mean. Well, she sees Haku. Now if you don't drop and start in next 25 seconds, you'll be up for 440. Gabriella glared and finally dropped down and began doing thing. Kushina let out a sigh. "I already regret this." Link break. The earlier event did nothing to damage their appetite, and the two of them were enjoying their meal when their radio communicator squawked to life. "All member of Team Simmons, please meet me at our regular spot in 30 minutes. Please acknowledge." Kakashi sounded in the box. Blonde boy acknowledged, Naruto said after pressing down the button. Pretty girl acknowledged as well, Hinata said. A few seconds later, they heard Kiba's voice. Dog boy acknowledged as well. Naruto looked curious at him. "What do you think?" Naruto smiled. I don't think he would call a meeting just to tell us he wasn't entering us in the exam." Link break. They were now standing at the practice fields about a mile from the academy. Kushina was looking patiently at her two squadmen. Haku was just standing there politely waiting. Gabriella was still rubbing her arms and looking discontent. Kushina sighed. "Well, as of today, the three of us will be Team Kushina. We'll be a two-man squad with me as a sensei. That is a bit unusual as the faculty assignment will only last a set of periods of 6 months, but all three of us are in unusual positions, so we'll do our best to make this an effective team." Gabriella let out a rude noise. "Do you wish to say something, Gabriella? If I do, will you make me do more push-ups?" She ostentatiously rubbed her arms. No. Kushina answered pleasantly, but I have plenty of other ways to make you miserable. Keep that in mind, the girl glared. Why are you even pretending that we're a team? I'm a you screw up, and even though I don't know this kid's story. She looked towards Haku. He must be some kind of problem too. All you are is a baby sister watching us to make sure we don't get in trouble. Kushina frowned. The girl's attitude needs some major adjustments. I don't babysit for Hokage. It's the other way around. Gabriella stared at her. Do you want to be ninja or not? If you don't say so right now, and I'll spare us both a lot of pain and aggravation. Have no doubts and that even if our makeup is a bit unusual, and we will be a team, and we will perform missions to serve this village. If you are not ready to give me your full effort, then I suggest you tell me so right now. Gabriella looked at her, but remained silent. Wonderful, Kushina spoke in a cheerful voice. We will, since we are in a new team, then why don't we introduce ourselves? I'll start off. My name is Namikaze Kushina. I am a clan head of Namikaze clan. I like training and being with my son, Naruto and his friends. She gave Haku a quick smile. Gabriella did not miss. What I dislike is anything or anyone who threatens my son. I have only one goal in life, and that is to see my son become Hokage. She looked at Gabriella. Your turn. Gabriella sighed. I am Uchiha Gabriella, of the elite Uchiha clan, obviously. I like ice cream and having fun, but I dislike are push-ups and people who make me do them for no good reason. My goal is to get the Sharingan and make my father and my clan see me. Kushina nodded. No one could miss the frustration when she spoke the last sentence. She nodded to Haku. Your turn. Haku gave a slight bow. Arigato, Kushina-sama. I am Momochi Haku. I like my bunny, feeding animals, and being with my friends, especially Naruto. I dislike and will destroy anyone who threatens those people who are precious to me. My goal is always to be able to serve and protect the Namikaze clan. Gabriella eyed the boy with disappointment. You sound like her Groby. And by the way, it's sensei, not Sama. Haku looked at her calmly. I prefer to call her Kushina-sama. Kushina sighed. She had told him many times that he didn't need to call her that, and had given up. All right. Now, since you both have experience, we won't bother with an silly test. We do some basic training and team building exercises today. But first I want to get a sense of your skill level. I'll spar with each of you. Gabriella, you go first. I want you to come at me as hard as you can. She nodded but looked a little nervous. Before we do that, can I ask you something? What? Gabriella looked embarrassed at what she was about to say. Well, I sort of grew up with stories about Shino. Kushina read that. Kushina sent a girl a flat look. Yes. Well, I know this is stupid, but those stories, they aren't real, are they? Kushina shook her head. Take my word that I don't magically appear if you say my name 3 times, and I don't go roaming the streets after dark looking for bad children. Gabriella nodded, feeling foolish but relieved. All right, but... And the crazy story about you killing a bunch of drunken men and pulling their decapitated bodies outside your gates? That pretends to, right? Kushina gave a happy smile. No, that one is true. Please keep that in mind the next time you think about running late. Now, let's start. With a shudder, Gabriella, sparring with her worst childhood nightmare, began. Link break. On the bridge, Kakashi handed them out the applications for the exams. I have nominated you for the Chunin exams. Competition is strictly voluntary. If you wish to compete, bring these forms with you at the Academy Room 301 by 4 p.m. 1 week from today, remember this, is strictly voluntary. If you choose not to compete, it will not be held against you. Not from. Damn it, I don't have a pen. I need one too, Kiba explained. Hinata produced one and began to fill out her form. You can use mine after I'm done, Naruto-kun, she said happily. Hey, me next, Kiba shouted. No, me, Naruto declared. Chuckling, Kakashi produced 2 pens. I thought you might want to compete. The boys each grabbed a pen and got busy. Are you kidding me, son? After Wave Country, this will be a breeze. Hell yeah, Kiba shouted. We're going to kick some major ass. Kakashi frowned a bit. I like your confidence, boys, but please don't think for a second that this is going to be easy. It's very rare for a rookie squad to even be nominated to compete, though 2 other teams were as well this year. It's also rare to pass on your first attempt. If you don't make it this time, don't see it as a setback. View it as a valuable experience for next time. What are you talking about, Nissan? Team 7 is the best. He looked at his two teammates and smiled. We're absolutely passing and making tune-in on the first try. His two teammates caught his excitement, nodded eagerly. Naruto, Kakashi said seriously, just about all your opponents will be older and a lot more experienced than you. Don't start thinking you'll have a walkthrough. These exams will be very bit as harsh as your first mission. In some ways, it will be much harder, and then I won't be there to help. Naruto smiled in confidence, not wavering for a bit. It doesn't matter how hard it is, we will definitely pass. Link break. Gabriella trudged home exhausted and sore. Just about every part of her ached. How exactly was she expected to survive this? Maybe the Hokage had deliberately made Kushina her sensei in order to drive her to quit. Well, that wasn't going to happen. She wasn't going to quit no matter what. She really wanted nothing more than a hot bath and bed. But she was expected to be at her aunt's house for dinner, and her father wouldn't be upset if she didn't show up. Thinking of her dear old dad, she let herself grin. He had gone to the Hokage to wash his hands off her. She was a failure in his eyes, and he told her the Hokage to do whatever she wanted with her. The Uchiha clan was uninterested. Today's event had one bright spot, and she was about to enjoy. She entered her aunt's home and removed her sandals. Is anyone home? Her aunt answered. We're in the dining room, dear. About to have dinner. Come join us. Gabriella entered the dining room and sat down. The only person who got a smile on her face was her aunt. Her dad and her mopey cousin got disinterested looks. So, Sasuke, is your score taking the exam? He sent her a very thin smile. Of course, we are. Kunai-sensei gave us the application this afternoon. His face took a steely look. I expect to make tune-in. To make the point, he activated Sharingan and showed it to her. Damn show-off. Of course he gets his before he even turns 13. What's wrong with me? Why can't I activate mine? I hope you're ready for it. The Chunin exams can be rough. For you maybe. Sasuke sneered. Sasuke, her aunt Mikoto said sharply. Your son has a point, Ryoko said. I'm sure he won't fail the exams 4 times and end up again in for life. Ryoko, that is not fair to Gabriella. She tries very hard and I'm sure she will make it there eventually. Mikoto spoke. Typical. My aunt defends me from my father, who just wants to tear me down. Thank you, auntie. I am still trying my best, father, and I am on a new team with my sensei. Her father was unimpressed and did not even bother to respond. How is it your new team, dear? Very strange. I only have one teammate and he's a little boy who is really quiet and polite and eager to please. Sasuke smirked. Is he any good? Because if he sounds like the exact opposite of you. Sasuke! Mikoto sounded upset. Ryoko made an agreeing sound. Gabriella had to bite down to keep from screaming in his face. So is your dear sensei. Gabriella waited for it. Namikaze Kushina. And so she known he would be coughed up his tea, gasping he needed a minute. What? The Hokage signed you that woman as sensei? This is outrageous. I'm going to tower right now and tell the Hokage. What exactly, Dad? Gabrielle cut in her sweet voice. Are you going to tell her that you're going back on your word? That now suddenly the clan does care about me? Wouldn't that make you, the clan, look awfully weak? Just go back on your word like that. She knew, or did she knew, that her father despised the appearance of weakness, and so now he was trapped by his own words into calling someone he absolutely loathed his daughter sensei. Anyway, she continued in a chipper voice, I wouldn't worry about it. Not only does she seems to be an excellent teacher, but two of us really hit it off. I think we're going to become very close. The look of his face made even every push-up and ache in her body worth it. Ah, sweet revenge, she thought to herself. Sakura was focusing her chakra into the fish. Not too much, just enough into the vital organ. Suddenly a fish began to flap about. Surprising, she pulled back a bit. I actually did it, Sakura, a sharp voice called. What are you waiting for? Put the fish back in the tank. Oh yes, Uchiha-sensei. She quickly grabbed the large fish and tossed him back into the tank. When she had started this training some months ago, the thought of even touching a slimy fish had grossed her out. Now she didn't even give it a second thought. With the fish now back into the tank, she turned back to face her sensei. Sakura immediately froze. Is that a smile? I didn't think she even knew how to smile. Chala noticed that, and Sakura was looking at her, and her smile vanished. There's something wrong, Cherry Blossom Girl? No, Sensei. Chala eyed her for a moment and slowly nodded. I have to tell you, Sakura, your progress has been much faster than I expected. Chala saw her student chest begin to puff out, but then, of course, I didn't expect much from you. Sakura chest deflated just as quickly. Ichala put a hand over her mouth so Sakura couldn't see her chuckle. The tuning exams begin tomorrow, don't they? Yes, Sensei. And if by magic Ichala reached her bag and produced a small cloth pouch. Here, this is for you. Sakura took it wearily. What is this, Sensei? A personalized med kit. Yeah, I made it for you. Inside you find bandages, antiseptics, morphines, soldier pills, gauze, and some other usual stuff. Thank you, Sensei. Sakura actually moved to give the woman Ichala a hug, but Ichala moved fast enough to back away. Don't hug me, girl, or I'll make you give it back to me. Sakura nodded. Now are you ready to finish up the lesson with our usual 10 laps around the Uchiha complex? Sakura finished attaching the medkit to her belt. Yes, Sensei. And there it was. Ichala actually smiled at her. In honor of being in the exams tomorrow, this one and time, I'll let you skip it. Really, Sensei? Get out of here, Sakura, before I change my mind, and good luck at the exams. Thank you very much, Sensei. Sakura fled as fast as she could. As we have a time skip. The next day, the plan was for Team A to meet at 3, go over a few things, and then walk over to the academy. So Sakura was a bit surprised when Shino came knocking at her family door at 2. Shino, has something happened? Did Kurone-sensei change the meeting time? No, Sakura, we are still expected to meet at 3 o'clock. Shino said, with a motionless, calm voice. Then what are you doing here? She asked, I would like you to come talk with me. Shino said simply. She looked at him with just a little bit concerned. In 3 months, they had been teammates. He had not exactly warmed up to either her or Sasuke. There was not to say he was not a good teammate or that he did not look out for them. It was just he had very solitary and quiet personality that did not mesh all the well with her intensive forthright ways. Why? What is it about? It is about me being a good teammate. I ask only that you take a short walk with me and listen to what I have to say. Shino said, oh, alright. Link break. They had been walking for about 5 minutes in uncomfortable silence. When it was uncomfortable for her, Shino was actually usually quiet. So she supposed he was alright with it. Tell me, Sakura. He suddenly spoke and took her by surprise. How do you describe me? What? He looked at her with a glass over his high collar of his coat. As usual, his expression were hidden. I would like you to tell me honestly how you view me. Okay. You're intelligent, honest, patient, quiet, and very dependable. He nodded simply. Am I in the habit of making false accusation of wild statements that are not backed by logic? Sakura shook her head. No, you're hardly saying anything. When you do, it's always the truth, and I always do say it is always pretty logical. He nodded again. Am I someone driven by wild passion to do and say mad and irresponsible things? He questioned. Sakura started to laugh. Shino and wild passion? No. She couldn't even imagine that picture. No, Shino. She tried to help and stop laughing. You're not. Do you think I would do or say anything to deliberately hurt you? She shook her head. No, Shino. You're a good guy and good teammate. And once more he nodded. Please keep all these conclusions in mind as I relate to you the following. He came to an abrupt halt and turned to face her. Sasuke is using you, and you would be best served to enjoy a relationship with him. She stared at him, not believing it. That was just about the last thing she had expected to hear from him. And the only thing that could have surprised her more would have been if he had suddenly proclaimed his love for her. Once she got over her shock as she started getting, did Kornai put up to you with this? No, I came to a conclusion independently. Has Kornai also spoken to you on this subject? Sakura calmed down on her hips. Kornai had taken her aside and gently hinted that her feelings for Sasuke were not rented, and that she might be better off with someone else. Being a woman, Kornai had at least known how to phrase it and bring things up indirectly to try and protect her feelings. Shino, she said defensively, whatever happens between me and Sasuke is none of your business. I disagree. Whatever affects the performance of the teammate and this team is most effectively and certainly my business, and Sasuke is beginning to have a negative effect on you. When you are not at his side, you are intelligent and strong. failed, and you are beginning to become a fine Konoichi. But when you are under Sasuke's eyes, you become a more than his puppet. You cease to be concerned with what is best for the team. You care only what he thinks of your performance, and concerns about his opinion of you is slowly deteriorating your effectiveness both as an individual shinobi and as a member of this team. She bit down and ground her teeth in fury. Why did people keep trying to force themselves between her and the one she loved? Ino, Korona, now even Shino? Why couldn't people just mind their own business? I'm very sorry you feel that way, Shino, but I honestly don't see how my feelings for Sasuke could possibly make me weaker when I'm been doing tons of extra training because I want to stronger for him. I'm also sorry that you feel that you have to try and hurt me just because you don't want me with Sasuke. Feel? My arguments have nothing to do with emotion. They are based on logical conclusions right from my evidence I have observed. It is you, Sasuke, Sakura, who based on what you say upon feelings and emotion rather than on logic and evidence. I don't care what you say, she shouted at him. I love Sasuke and nothing will change that. Shino stood there and looked at her in a moment. I see, but he doesn't not love you. What? She gasped and took a step back. Why would you say that? Like my previous statement, Sakura, that one is based on logic, gathering from visual evidence. If your behavior towards Sasuke is evidence of your love for him, then I am left to conclude that given his complete lack of similar behavior, he is also a similar lack of its cause. His actions are not consistent with someone who is concerned for your contentment or safety. Rather, his actions are appropriate for someone who is only interested in gaining the greatest possible use for you. The words reminded her of the argument she had with Ino after the prank of the academy. Their words were a bit different, but the message was the same. They both tried to convince her Sasuke was using her. You don't know what you're talking about. Shino waited a bit. Is that your entire argument? You do not wish to believe what I have to say, and so I must be mistaken. Don't take that tone with me. Sakura crossed her arms over her chest. What tone is that? Shino asked, not even sounding curious. That smart spirit tone that says you know so much more than me. You're mistaken, Sakura. The tone of my voice has nothing changed at any point in our conversation. However, I recognize now that my efforts were wasted. It's clear that you are determined to hold to your beliefs regardless of any argument or evidence put to you. You are usually quite intelligent, Sakura, but when it comes to Sasuke, you are blind-spotted. To you, Sakura, Sasuke can do no wrong. Anything or anyone who challenges this assumption is simply dismissed out of hand. You are bound and determined to hold on to this idealization version of Sasuke regardless of his actual facts. All I know is that Sasuke is in love with me, and I love him too. Really? And where is the evidence of this? I don't need evidence, Sakura insisted. I just know it. I see, she replied. Very well. Clearly my efforts were wasted here. He turned to leave. I will meet you on the practice field at 3, as our sensei instructed. She stood there and watched him leave. Aren't you worried I'll tell Sasuke what you said? Shino looked back at her and thought it was hard to tell. She thought he'll have looked surprised. Sakura, I spoke to Sasuke about this same matter before coming to you home. You did? He nodded. Of course, unlike you, I concern myself with following the dictates of logic rather than emotions. I advised him of my conclusion and my belief that you should not be a couple. Did he get angry or threaten you? She was worried. She didn't want the team torn apart. No, he was not upset at the least. He informed me that I could make whatever arguments I liked, that nothing I could say would cause you to give up your attachment to him. Shino paused. I will admit he certainly understood you better than I did. With that, Shino departed. He didn't fight for me? He didn't even get angry? She stood herself. That was a good decision. Sasuke had been confident in her love for him and had not even been worried about losing her, but if still bothered her that her boyfriend would at least get angry when someone suggested he was just using her. It bothered her a great deal, more than she was willing to admit even to herself. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to check out What If Naruto was raised by Tsunade next part as well. And this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.